Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Eyal. 11th Annual Non-Dilutive Funding Summit. We've been doing this for a long time. And as Eyal said, I think we thought last year was amazing. I think this year is even better. And I'm really I'm thankful for all of you who were able to come this morning. I recognize some faces who are here before, and any of you know that for the past 10 years, I've started this event every time with a presentation. I used to present about the budget, where money went, what were the trends, who won, generally speaking, on communications focus, research, etc. And then we used to discuss best practices for next year, where money is expected to go and how best to utilize it, take advantage of it to maximize funding potential from non-dilutive sources to support companies, to support your organizations. Well, last year was really good in that sense, and more awards, more support than any year before. It's really beautiful, and next year, this year, 2016, promises to be even better with an increase in the NIH budget, which is really great. But I'm not going to focus on that today. I'm not going to have any presentation today. I think we have an impressive panel of speakers, an impressive agenda, better than any year before, and I think they'll do a far better job than I could discussing their own agendas, policies, targets, aims, where money is available, what are the best ways to get there, and how to maximize potential for funding. They will each give presentations, and I think the speakers from the Department of Defense, from National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases, from the National Institute for Bioimaging and Bioengineering, MS Foundation, Cure Duchenne, Michael J. Fox Foundation, really a great set of speakers. So I think they could give you all of this hardcore material that will be very, very interesting, and we'll discuss all of that in detail. You don't need me for that. In addition, just to follow on Eyal's note earlier, the mega panel we have set for you guys this afternoon will close this day, this event. And I think this will be a tremendous opportunity to have both government sources of non-dilutive funding, DoD, a couple of NIH representatives, and three different private foundations all sit together to discuss the relationship between industry and non-dilutive sources of funding. Where do they expect things to go? Why are they going this way right now? Discuss aspects like SBIR versus non-SBIRs. Discuss aspects like IP rights or other issues. What money is available, and how would you like to see the relationship between industry and non-dilutive sources to continue developing? I think to date, it has served as a great engine to support the industry and the life science research and development community at large, but I think it could be improved, and that will be a great opportunity to have all those questions answered. So I really look forward for that. In addition, we were able to schedule or facilitate scheduling of over 50 meetings, one-on-one meetings between the representatives from the foundations and the NIH and the DoD and industry leaders and yourselves. Having 50 direct interactions and discussions in this setting, I think, is an important part of the understanding of the needs of the industry that is different from academic needs, for example, as it relate or may relate to non-dilutive funding sources, and definitely shows the importance those government and private foundation sources of funding see in the industry, troubling themselves to come over here, being available to meet with you, to speak in front of us and meet directly, opening up and discussing specifics, I think shows great interest in the industry and openness. And I think at the same time, the role they play and the role the industry plays in supporting research and development in life sciences and promoting it is crucial, and then understanding direct discussion and understanding between the two is very, very important. Now, 3 years ago today, literally today, 3 years ago, we have made a major change at FreeMind, which some of you have experienced. We have changed our business model, and it was all done based on a notion, on a gut feeling, really. We thought, we still think, that ultimately more submissions per company will lead to greater awards, to better results, to greater success rate. We thought a strategic approach looking into all available funding opportunities, a complete overview of the client, of your needs, of your strategy, of your aims, will allow you to better target available funding opportunities that will promote your needs and strategy, rather than take you to other places for, so to speak, free money. We thought that submitting more applications that are relevant, as many as possible, in fact, will lead to more awards and better results. We had a feeling, and we worked based on that, and you know what, it worked. It really did, and we started taking statistics, numbers, just counting everything 3 years ago when we made that change. And I can tell you today, statistically, it works. In fact, 2/3 of our clients working through this system, submitting at least 3 applications a year, win. Almost 2/3, 64% to be exact. That's a huge number in an environment of 10%, 10 to 15% success rate. So we really believe a systematic approach, a very open-minded approach, looking into every possible opportunity, is crucial for this success. In retrospect, we know that those changes to a retainer-based business model that allowed for unlimited number of submission per client led to more clients for FreeMind, to more submission per client, and for many more awards. A great success. But more than that, we saw there's a side effect to it. And as we wrote more applications with our clients, as we submitted more, we have found that the cost effectiveness of an application, writing the 3rd, 4th, 10th application with a client, costs less for the client in terms of money and in terms of time expenditure. So the 5th or 6th application costs less to produce and will have a better chance of winning because you know better, you target better, and you've tried different opportunities, different directions. And this is a really good, important understanding that I want to share with you, because this is the basis of how you turn non-dilutive sources, in our mind, into a strategic source of funding for your company. You must look for every available source of funding. And while everyone knows the SBIR and STTR program, and these are great opportunities, and we do submit many of those, and I'm sure all of you do as well. You have to keep in mind they represent, ultimately, only about 50% of the actual awards to companies. So the other 50% will come from sources of funding that many times, even today, have a great misperception about them. The R1s, the R21s, the UO1s, other sources of funding that are available, research contracts, accommodate for the other 50%. And not only that, the SBIR is only 50%. The SBIR budget is set. It's limited. It's not going to grow. And any chance of increasing the pie for companies, for the industry, to win more money from these sources will have to come from other sources, for other mechanisms, like the R1s or R21s and so. And so, again, understanding the entire environment of funding opportunities relevant for your work, for your specific scientific goals and strategy, mechanisms of all kinds, private foundation as well as government sources, R1s as well as STTRs, going through the entire thing and being able to identify the most relevant opportunities for your needs, for your scientific strategy, will lead to multiple submissions, will lead to better understanding and for more awards, more money. And ultimately, this is a sort of scientific process, but the end goal for all of us is financial. You really want to get as much money as possible out of it. Looking into FreeMind, in the past 3 years, we've grown significantly. Actually, today we have 55 FTEs, which is great. We submit at a rate of about 500 applications a year, which is wonderful. We had one last year more than any year before. So we're very happy about that, but we're looking forward to be able to do more and actually do better. We really want to improve the process, to improve efficiency, to be able to better identify opportunities for our clients, to better write applications, to produce in a better way that will be less costly. We want to reduce the cost of writing an application in terms of time spent and in terms of money spent by our clients, and we want to increase success. We've committed ourselves, therefore, to this aim, to this goal, and actually to a great investment towards that. We've created at FreeMind a startup company. This startup company is set to to create a set of tools, online, cloud-based tools that will enable, hopefully, it's still under development, will enable, hopefully, the creation of a more efficient, a more cost-effective, and a much, much better process that will lead to more submission for less money and with greater success. We call this suite of tools the R&D money tools. And the importance of it is to create automated ways in which we could do three things. Number one, to be able to position yourself, your company, in respect to past experiences of others. So we want you to be able to easily, and in a very easy automated way online, to understand where do you stand. Who had won before in your niche, in your specific field of research? What kinds of money, what kind of mechanisms and support was available last year, 2 years ago? Where do you stand scientifically in comparison to that? So that's one set of tools. The other is to clearly understand what are the opportunities. Be able to very easily, again online, identify your entire available funding opportunities relevant for your specific profile, for your specific needs and scientific focus and strategy. And not only identify those opportunities, but also be able to clearly and very, very systematically prioritize them for you. Be able to understand why one presents a better opportunity compared to another, not only in terms of the amounts of money available, because obviously $5 million is much better than $500,000, but sometimes the $500,000 will have a much better effect, will have a better fit to your strategy scientifically compared to the $5 million. And I'm not preaching go for the $500,000 and not for the 5. I'm probably preaching go for both. But understand what you need to do to maximize your potential and understand what's available for you. And then lastly, create a process, again, online-based, that will enable better writing, semi-automated writing process of the applications, that it will be more efficient, be easier to produce your 5th, your 6th, your 10th, your 20th application. The more you submit, the greater are the chances you will win, and that's where you want to be. So, the ability to produce more applications in a more efficient way, we believe, will lead to a more substantial place for non-dilutive sources of funding within the life science industry compared to other sources of funding like private investment VCs, the public markets, etc. We'll put them all in a better position, and when you know how to do it, when you can expect what's available and you can plan ahead strategically, you can also take that into account as you plan ahead your strategy for the company at large. The Milken Institute had quoted $1 of non-dilutive funding sources will lead to $8 in direct investment from private or other sources into a company. And if you take that into account, coupled with the increase in potential identification of opportunities, of submissions, and of success, I think this will position the life science non-dilutive sources of funding as a crucial key engine to support the industry and to promote identification of new therapeutics, of new targets, of new devices, just push the entire market forward. And we're extremely excited about the way it looks and where it may take us all. So today, I'm very delighted to be able to unveil for the first time the first part, the first phase, the first tool of this set of tools we're developing, the R&DMoneyView. We expect within the next 18 to 24 months, the entire suite will be available and will be implemented and used and hopefully be very successful. And I want to invite Eyal Ronen, our Vice President, back to the podium.
So, as Ron described, the idea is to build a suite of tools. Now, we first thought of this, must have been late Q1, when we realized that people keep asking us the same question. So what exactly is there for me? So I'm in the Alzheimer's, neuroscience, diabetes. How much money can I actually get from these sources? And well, the answer is very simple. You log on to the usaspending.gov and you run a search that gets you about, I think, 100,000 entries of every single invoice made, and you start going through the data, you splice it every which direction, and finally you would maybe, within a month, get to the exact number that you're looking for. Obviously, that's ridiculous. And I do know they're working on that system, but we thought, okay, our niche is the industry. What we'll do is we'll put together a tool that basically displays every domestic for-profit award made through every institute and mechanism available. And the homepage basically says 17 billion awarded. This is, by the way, updated just last week for 2015 as well. 17 billion awarded since 2010. The reason we chose 2010 as a cutoff, that's just post the Recovery Act, and we want to just make it easier to understand. So this is the tool. Now, okay. So basically, it's all under graphs. You can download the data, and I'll show you how. Okay. So first of all, domestic for-profit awards, and I opened it separately, so you can see. Every year, you can look at exactly how much money was awarded for every state, as well as go into every state and see exactly how much money was awarded in your area. Go San Diego. Also, you can download the data set, go through it, and see what is of interest. The second graph that we were considering is the annual spending over time. Where is that money? Where does all that money come from? So, looking at the distribution of the funding over the course of the year, and you can go ahead and see exactly what agency made what award for every single year. And as you can see, NIH is fairly constant throughout the years. We know that. BARDA, there's a bit of a sinus rhythm in there. Not quite sure what that is, probably budgetary issues. We also know that BARDA tends to make most of the awards right at the end of the fiscal year. So if you follow the news closely, you'll see in September all of a sudden all these BARDA awards start popping up. So once again, you can see this for every year that you like and monitor that. Further, that's just some interesting statistics there. Okay. Diseases and disorders. Once again, one of the most common questions we get, okay, how much money is there for a certain set of activities? What diseases, what sort of awards are made to said areas? So here we've got a graph. Now, this is what's called categorical spending in the NIH. This is not mutually exclusive. We could have a program that's both under cancer and under rare diseases. Now, you can go deeper into the areas of interest and try to see your more specific program. And as I mentioned, you could always download the data set and try to see what exactly was awarded. Now here's where we found this to be very interesting. Once again, of the questions we get is, okay, so I'm a U.S. company and I can win SBIRs. Right, that's absolutely correct. But there's much more out there, and that's exactly what Ron was discussing. So looking at the awards made by these sources, we put together this graph that basically shows that for 2015, NIH made $1.547628955 billion awards through the NIH. Other sources accounted for $1.2 billion in 2015, and you can change this up for 2014 if you like, and even go back further as 2010. And notice how this graph changes. Great. So looking at the other sources, you've got the CDC, the FDA, the DARPA, U.S. Army, Defense Threat Reduction Agency, DTRA, and BARDA. Okay, and every one shows you exactly how much money was awarded to domestic for-profit organizations. Looking at the NIH, you can see how many awards were made to the various institutes. Cancer being the primary awards, $500 million, every single year for domestic for-profit organizations. And the NIAID, of course, that presenting shortly, Dr. Mike Kurilla will probably be able to share more about that. Great. And if you want to look more closely at the field of research, you can also look to see exactly where the money is spent in terms of the field. So biotechnology being $500 million, bioengineering $400 million. You could also go deeper in to see exactly how much money was spent for domestic for-profit organizations on neurosciences, aging, pain research, injury, etc. And of course, for every year that you'd like to know exactly what happened, you can once again download the data set. And finally, and definitely one of the most important graphs that we have in this R&DMoneyView is how does the NIH make how does the NIH support these programs? Through what mechanism? So looking at the graph, you can see that roughly 60% of the awards are made through research project grants, and that makes perfect sense. Then again, there are about 40% R&D contracts. And we could even see more deeply into what exactly those mechanisms were, if you'd like to know. Regarding the research grants, so we've got SBIR programs, of course, Ram mentioned. It's a fixed pie. It's about $700 million per year. Doesn't grow, doesn't change. And then we've got the non-SBIR research grants that account for about $200 million. And these non-SBIR programs stem from other mechanisms that we'll be able to see shortly, ranging from U01s and U19s and so on, and R1s and R21s. And once again, you can play around with the years and see what has occurred. Regarding the SBIR, not surprisingly, the largest pocket of money in the SBIR is the Phase 2. You could get to Phase 2 either by submitting and winning a Phase 1 and then going for a Phase 2, or going for a direct to Phase 2, or going for a fast-track application, Phase 1 and Phase 2. And these are the number of awards. Finally, what we're also able to do in the R&DMoneyView is provide insights. So we go through these tremendous data sets and try to make some insights, or try to find some insights. And we've got these under the insight portion, and you can go ahead and read those. It's actually a good time to mention that this is in beta version. It's actually under password, and each one of our clients will receive a password and can go through the data and learn from the process. So, if to summarize, the first tool that we put together is a tool that enables you to look at what has been awarded, through what mechanisms, what funding levels for domestic for-profit organizations in your region, in your area of interest, and what sort of mechanisms you could potentially be using. As we speak, our coders are banging away at the keyboard and working on the other tools, tools that Ram mentioned regarding strategy portion, regarding generation of applications, and just streamlining the whole granting process. And we do hope to roll that out by the end of 2016 and have it open to the public. Thank you very much.